Stoicism is a philosophy that originated in ancient Greece and gained popularity in the Roman Empire, exerting significant influence on its culture and thinking. Stoicism offers practical principles that allow us to overcome life's hardships with strength and resilience, as well as to develop an invincible character. With it, we can control our thoughts, reactions, and actions, develop emotional stability, and build harmonious relationships. To achieve this balance and build an invincible character, let's explore the key principles of Stoicism. Internal control. The first and one of the most important principles calls us to focus on what is within our power, our thoughts, actions, and reactions. Stoics taught that true freedom and happiness are achieved through self-mastery and the management of our inner world, rather than striving to control external circumstances that are beyond our control. The principle of internal control urges us to take responsibility for our thoughts, emotions, and actions, recognizing that these are what we can control. By developing self-awareness, self-analysis, and self-control, we can achieve a more harmonious and stable life. However, the Stoic principle of internal control does not imply denial or ignorance of external circumstances. Stoics advocated for accepting reality and acting wisely in accordance with it. The principle of Stoicism serves as the foundation for developing an invincible character. There is nothing impossible for those who possess internal control and adaptability. Epictetus. The principle of acceptance. Stoics teach us to accept everything that happens in our lives with understanding and without resistance. They urge us to embrace fate, changeability, and the inevitability of change, which helps us adapt and overcome difficulties with dignity. And while we can never escape things that are beyond our control and that we cannot change, no matter how much we desire to, we can choose which values, beliefs, and emotions to embrace in our lives and how to react to them, which allows us to free ourselves from unnecessary suffering and worry. This ideology calls us to pay attention to the inner work on ourselves, the development of wisdom, and the ability to maintain tranquility in any circumstances, despite external fluctuations and uncertainties. Believe in yourself. Accept everything that happens to you as an integral part of your own path, and achieve inner harmony by taking full control of your inner world. Marcus Aurelius. The principle of reasoned judgment. The importance of rational thinking and thoughtful decision-making is one of the foundations of an invincible character. We must not succumb to emotional outbursts or panic, but instead use our reason and logic to make rational decisions. It is not things themselves that disturb people, but their judgments about these things. This quote, spoken by Epictetus, emphasizes that our emotional state and suffering are not caused by events themselves, but rather depend on how we judge them. Stoics teach us to be aware that we have control over our judgments and reactions to external events. Reasoned judgment calls us to critical thinking, analysis, and openness to new ideas. It urges us not to make superficial judgments, and not to avoid reality. It is always easier to simply forget and immerse ourselves in non-existence and an imaginary world than to acknowledge reality. However, by choosing the path of forgetfulness, we disappear from our real lives and lose any chance to build an invincible character. So instead of drawing conclusions based on emotional outbursts, we should strive for a deep understanding of situations, seek truth, and provide rational answers. The principle of patience and perseverance. Without patience and perseverance, we cannot achieve much in this world. Stoics say that to achieve a goal, we need to be patient and resilient in the face of challenges. By seeing difficulties with clear eyes, we open up to opportunities of growth and development, rather than obstacles. It's also important to understand that patience does not simply mean waiting, but means maintaining inner calm and a positive attitude, even in situations that may be difficult or stressful. A quote from the Stoic Seneca perfectly reflects this principle. Patience is not simply the ability to wait, but the ability to keep a good attitude while waiting. The principle of justice and compassion. Justice and compassion are fundamental principles of Stoic philosophy. Stoics teach us that justice and compassion are an integral part of our human nature. They remind us of the importance of justice in our relationships and obligations to society. Stoics teach us to see the common humanity and interconnectedness between all beings, which helps us develop empathy and build harmonious relationships with others. The principle of justice and compassion calls us not only to be fair in our actions, but also to develop understanding, empathy, and compassion for the suffering of others. We must consider their interests, needs, and voluntary act for their well-being. Stoicism shows us that justice and compassion are an integral part of our human nature. They remind us of the importance of justice in our relationships and obligations to society. Just action is not only to do what is right, but to love what you do. Marcus Aurelius. This quote indicates that justice is not limited to simply following rules and norms, but also that it requires our love for what we do. Justice demands our genuine participation and concern for the well-being of others. This principle reminds us that we are all interconnected and that our well-being is closely linked to the well-being of others. Implementing Stoic principles in our lives will take time and effort, but the rewards will be enormous. Remember that personal growth is a continuous journey and every small step matters. Only by continuing our path can we build our invincible selves.